Hello and welcome to AITPM News. And in this edition we have Australia's international work on bus rapid transit, a new tunnel, visionary or the same old approach, why academic qualifications aren't everything, and pedestrian facilities, technical excellence and some fun. An international consortium, including the Institute of Transport and Logistics Studies at the University of Sydney, is to continue its groundbreaking efforts to improve bus rapid transit systems with renewed backing from the Volvo Research and Education Foundation. Professor Corinne Mully from the Institute describes their approach.
We've been looking at all sorts of things as a consortium about how bus rapid transit could be better placed in cities and provide better mobility for citizens, because that's what it's all about. More recently, we've been looking at another stated choice experiment to try and dig down and find out what sort of characteristics are putting people in favour of rail-based technology rather than road-based technology. And there's some interesting features that have come out of this. And the two that stand out for me is that actually from buses, what citizens appreciate is the greater network that you get for the same amount of dollars spent. So we gave people a fixed budget. You can have this amount of network from this one or this amount of network from another without saying that it was LRT or BRT. And people chose that feature as being important to them. And the second thing which stood out for me in terms of the research is the role of experience. So in cities like Brisbane, where people are familiar with bus rapid transit, it gets a very much higher rating in terms of people being prepared to vote for a system that would include BRT.
When the New South Wales State Government recently announced a new road proposal into the Manly-Warringah Peninsula in Sydney in the lead-up to a by-election, there was some cynicism. Well, we're not there yet, but now they have taken a further step in producing a fact sheet on the beaches link and a new crossing of the harbour. They mentioned improving public transport, and there are pictures of buses in their animation. But there is also a strong emphasis on traditional ideas of improving car traffic flows. They say it will bypass 19 sets of traffic lights, reduce travel times by 35 to 45 minutes, future-proof Sydney's transport, and make Sydney's busiest transport corridor shock-proof. That last point about the Harbour Bridge becoming shock-proof was that in 2015 there were almost 4,000 accidents or breakdowns on the Harbour Bridge. Also in this proposal they make a valid point about removing rat running from local streets, a perennial problem despite past efforts to block backstreet through routes. But will this project be designed or perhaps tripped up on a few old traditional one-liners about transport? Or will it be an opportunity for ongoing discussions with the community and the chance to focus on the latest technologies in road-based public transport? Last year, Mats Jarlstrom revealed troubling flaws in the mathematical formula used to govern the timing of US traffic lights, and he deduced a better system. For his trouble, he was fined $500 for practising engineering without a licence. The AITPM started up to be the exact opposite of this. You can become a member if you are involved in improving transport conditions, no matter what your level of education. There is no better example of this than the late Arthur Sims, known as the father of SCATS, the Sydney Coordinated Adaptive Traffic System. A system that has been so successful that it now operates some 42,000 intersections in over 154 cities in 25 countries around the world. Arthur had no tertiary qualifications. He tells of how he came from a humble background.
Well, my father was an iron moulder and core maker. He used to work at the Everleigh workshops near Redfern, and he used to make all the cylinders for the old steam trains. The old C-36 was one of his pets, the ones that used to be the fastest mountain train in the world, used to go up to the Blue Mountains.
Wanting to coordinate traffic lights is a logical idea, but how do you know what the traffic situation was? Fortunately, in the late 60s, magnetic loop detectors, which are buried in the roadway, had come on the scene.
They were invented in '68, so at that stage of the game, with Frank Hulcher and myself and Graham Davis, worked on the idea of trying to make the fixed time system an adaptive system. So we installed 50 loop detectors just outside the control centre of varying lengths and so on, so we could analyse what type of output we were getting from the detector and how we could analyse that data to make the system automatically change. And that was actually the start of the design of the SCAT system. And that type of development went on for 2 or 3 years, and that was still in the days before the modern computer. There was no such thing as a solid-state clever computer.
The old Everleigh locomotive sheds now house a modern technology park. One of the areas is named the Arthur Sims Room. His father would be very proud. A Safe Active Street workshop was recently held in Perth. There is a link to their reports on our website and a summary article in the May 2017 AITPM newsletter, which contains some very helpful technical advice. But the newest pedestrian crossings in Rotterdam also remind us of the need for creative approaches for pedestrians. They have put symbols on the footpath that are part of celebrating the pedestrian. The message is, stand straight, walk proud. You can see that they still have the functional zebra crossing pattern across the road, but creative images in non-conflict situations. This is not a first. We have seen the fish crossing in Chile and crossings with a social political message. In Lisbon, in Portugal, they created a dancing pedestrian sign that needed people to activate the movement. We need guidelines and strong technical input to create safe pedestrian areas. But pedestrian activity is not just a function, it should be part of the vibrancy of the city.